Hello everybody, my name is Vergrazia and welcome to this video all about the Dagmar jacket. I started this project all the way back in April with completely different intentions. My initial reason for filming this video and even making the Dagmar jacket was because I was and still am really inspired by this creator whose name is Isabel Page, and in a lot of her videos during the wintertime you could see her wearing this like beautiful textured cabled cardigan. And I thought, like, I can knit, so I want to make something that's just as cozy and as luxurious to wear in the wintertime. Obviously, I had known about the Dagmar jacket because if you're in the knitting community, like, how could you not know about the Dagmar jacket? And so that was kind of on my list to make because to me it was like the same thing, but after seeing a bunch of different like cabled patterns now that I see people working on, like, there's a lot of different cable patterns that I could have done to make it look most like hers. Despite that being my initial intention, this has completely evolved over the past 6 months, and I'm so excited to take you through that journey of from start to finish on how this cardigan is what it is and why it is so much more special to me than I originally expected it to be. Just a few details about the sweater and what I specifically did. I knit a size 4 of the Dagmar jacket and I used Drops Air because I felt like that was the most fitting, and I was inspired by Be Creative Knits on YouTube and on Instagram, who made a cabled cardigan out of Drops Air. And so I really wanted to try Drops Air, and this was my opportunity to do so. The gauge of the pattern is 18 stitches by 24 rows, and I had gauge with 5mm needles. The project calls for 4.5mm needles, but 5mm needles appears to be my sweet spot because I hit gauge perfectly with that, and it was a pleasure knitting with 5mm needles. I definitely talk about Drops Air a lot in this video and sort of the process that I had going through it. It turns out I needed another skein, and that is a whole fiasco that you will see, but it all turned out okay, obviously. And I also had quite a deal when it came to blocking it, but I'll tell you more about that when that time comes. So I just want to let you enjoy a little bit of the process and the goings of the knitting journey, I guess. So I would say the bulk of this knit happened over my trip to Wisconsin. Back in May, me, my sister, and my mom went to Wisconsin to visit my grandparents at their lake house, and I posted a video about that, which is really special to me, and you can kind of see those cozy vibes of everything that happened and a little bit more of knitting of the Dagmar jacket, but it's mainly just like for the vibes.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in. Golden, golden, I'll follow only golden, 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 golden things. Mountain laurel high fives for miles in spring. Rainbow trout and hummingbird wing. Golden, I'll follow only golden, golden, golden things. Gold hair, gold rings, gold leaves, gold anything.
looking back, I think this jacket is so special to me because of the say that my grandmother had in it while I was in Wisconsin. As I was kind of working on this video and like reflecting on how I will get it done, I thought a lot about how my knitting journey began. So a lot of times people's knitting journey begins like with their grandmother teaching them how to knit or crochet. While my grandmother never taught me how to knit, it was because of her that I think I really became aware of it as an art and a craft that people do. I think my knitting journey began far before I ever made my first stitch. But instead, when I had asked my grandmother if she could make me a chunky cabled cardigan for Christmas. And I think that's when I really realized and I became aware that this is an art that you can create such magnificent pieces of clothing with. And so I think looking back, that was really the start of my knitting journey. These moments of quiet, the sunshine sparkling through the trees, and I think my grandmother's voice shaped the energy and the love that went into the body of this cardigan. Whenever I wear this cardigan, I feel like that sense of peace that I had when I was in Wisconsin and just guilt-free relaxation of fully indulging in my hobby, my art. This video is to be put in my knitting a cardigan like Isabel Page's cardigan. So I've gotten to a point where I finished the cabling, so I thought, because in all the like sample pictures of the product, it had 4 cables going down this sweater. And so on my 4th cable, I'm looking at it and I think it's too short even if I start ripping here. But now that I'm like really looking at it, I wonder if she had another full cable here. I think maybe I need to measure it because in the pattern it says that once it gets to a certain measurement from that to start the ribbing or from like your desired length, till if it measures 49 centimeters. 49 centimeters. I feel like it might be a whole nother cable that I need to add. I think half a centimeter would be fine. I mean, half a cable would be fine. But maybe I might need to add a whole nother cable. I thought I might be done with this by tonight, but it appears I might not be. Plus, if I'm inspired by Isabel Page's cardigan, it is like an oversized comfy cardigan. So if I have to do a whole nother cable, like I gotta do what you gotta do. And I practically did this in a day. So I can start the other one. Maybe I can finish half of it and then finish the next half tomorrow and do the ribbing tomorrow. I'm not in a rush, but I want to wear it.
Sorry. That's my security system. She keeps her paws on the door so nobody will come in. Yeah. And he brings his own coffee. Yeah. There's not any more coffee. Oh, sorry. That's a lot of coffee. That's so great. Yeah.
Suffer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Time for a moment of truth. Oh, that's gotta be good. Right?
I like that.
That's good. Plus,
That's good.
that's good.
That's good.
Phew!
And you got it over a sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Good. Good, 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 good.
Ta-da!
Wow.
See chunks of butter in the brown sugar
Right.
and sugar. That's gonna be all blended
And she did that. She blended it tonight.
tonight.
So maybe in the past we haven't blended it.
Maybe as long. And then when you put the oatmeal and the flour in, you blend it so it's just creamy. You know, it has to be one solid color, not, you know, you see the oatmeal in it,
Yeah.
but it's gotta be blended a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're gonna do extra blending when we make it.
yeah.
Is right at that level.
Yep. Clip. Okay, Grandma.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'm adding 2 more rows and then binding off.
I like that.
You need 3 eggs.
I like it. You like that? Yeah. I do.
It's pretty good. Then I put my Dagmar jacket away for 4 months. Those 4 months were spent with my other grandparents in Massachusetts. Though when I returned back to school, I felt that shift again. That desire to pull back out this project that brought me so much peace and has so much peace and love worked into it. During the time I was working on this, my grandmother, who we visited in Wisconsin, passed away from cancer. I held on so tightly to that last cable on the body, or the ribbing that made it the perfect length. When the weather starts getting cold here in Virginia, I will think about how my Dagmar jacket is perfect because it even fits over a sweater, like how my grandmother pointed out. While my grandmother herself didn't physically help me make this, I feel her energy every time I wear it. It's become more than a cardigan inspired by a filmmaker, but more so it feels like my cardigan that is like the hug of an angel. Well, hello everybody. It's been quite a long time since I've talked to this video, specifically about the Dagmar jacket. So I stopped at an interesting point in it where I had done the entire body and then, I didn't take any notes on the needle sizes I was using. I think I figured it out since because I think I sized up to a size 5mm needle when it calls for a 4.5 because that's how I hit gauge, and had to check back to make sure to see what I was doing. Yeah, I've kind of figured it out, I think, hopefully. I guess we'll see when I finish the arms. But I did one placket. Specifically I did the button panel, and now I am just picking up stitches all along the arm because I'm getting a little bit nervous that I'm not going to have enough yarn. What I'm most worried about, and what I think stopped me from picking this up, was that I wouldn't have enough yarn and would have to buy more yarn, and then it would be a completely different dye lot. which, like, luckily I think it's okay because the color is just wheat, so I don't really know how much different it can get, but I do know it could get a little bit different. So I'm a little bit nervous for that. Hopefully I can finish the arms. Worst case, if worst comes to worst, I can undo the ribbing and take all the ribbing and make that the new color, and then harvest that yarn and use it for the parts that need to be finished. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's currently 12 o'clock at night. Technically 12 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I do have class tomorrow. School is back in session. Today was Labor Day. Technically yesterday was Labor Day, but yeah, we'll see. I just want to pick up these stitches and then I'm gonna go to sleep, because if I have them on my needles, it will be much easier to go back and be like, I'm just gonna knit a row of my Dagmar jacket, instead of like having to start and like make a decision on what to do. But I'm making the decision now with my slightly sleepy brain. I hope you enjoyed this. I had a spark of inspiration coming back to school and like thinking about the videos that I want to do, and specifically this video, which is the Dagmar jacket / knitting a jacket, a cardigan inspired by Isabel Page's cardigan. I'm gonna keep picking these up. The pickup rate is different than what I need to do because I'm at 90 stitches and I still have a lot left. Hi everybody. First I want to change my background color because I don't want orange. It's so nice to be talking to you. Here is my Dagmar jacket so far. Here we go. Look at that. And I've done all my increases, I've met my decreases, and we've got some developments. So this is my second ball of yarn, and I fear I'm definitely not going to have enough, and I've already decided that. So let me tell you a little story on what has happened. So once I was like sort of halfway done with the arm and like my ball was already running out, and mind you, I have to do a whole nother arm. I have to do the other half of the placket and the neck band. I realized that I was not going to have enough yarn, and so what I did was, I posted on Instagram and TikTok asking if anybody had this specific dye lot, because I've never been worried about that before, but for some reason for this I was just like, this is my Dagmar jacket and I want it to be the best possible thing it could possibly be, which I have some guilty feelings about that, because if I wanted it to be the best thing it could possibly be, I feel like I could have maybe picked a better yarn and not dropped air. There's that. And I have one mistake, like super far back. It's not super noticeable. I just know it because I know it's there, and I think it's not going to be very noticeable to the public eye. And it's handmade, and so when I die, I'm gonna need some place for my soul to escape. I'll show it to you, RQ. So it's just on the front panel, you know, just a little, here's my honeycomb stitches, and they just got a little, the bees got a little confused, I guess. Like, it's really not that bad, but it's a mistake. Anyways, what I ended up doing was, on a whim, I like ordered 2 more skeins of Drops Air from Lindy Hobby, which I've ordered something like 2 weeks ago and it still has not shipped. And then like last minute I emailed them afterwards and I'm like, can I cancel this? After that, what I ended up doing was I went on to Ravelry, and thank goodness for organized people, because I searched up Drops Air, I searched up the color Wheat, and they have a way to filter dye lots too, and so I put in my dye lot, which was 373268. I remember it off the top of my head because I was that stressed about it. Anyways, that was the dye lot, and 2 people had that in their stash. Of course, both of them were not for sale, but I went ahead, I messaged both of them anyways on Ravelry. I was like, hey, this is my situation. I'm knitting the Dagmar jacket, which is the most tedious thing I've ever done, and the place where I got the yarn has stopped shipping to the US, blah 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 blah. Desperately checked back like every 30 minutes or something to see if any of them responded. And then later that night I got a little bit desperate also and stalkerish, and so I found one of the people that I messaged. They had linked like their Instagram and their YouTube, and so I found her on Instagram. I messaged her and I'm like, hey, just telling her my situation again, and she said that she'll send it to me. So she's actually saving my life. She's from the UK, so it's a bit of a far away. This is her profile because she has a public profile. She posts on YouTube, she posts on Instagram, and you should go follow her. You should go follow her because this is like the epitome of how good the knitting community is and how incredible the knitting community is, because I messaged this lady who has no idea who I am, anything, whatever, but she's willing to send me a skein of her yarn to help me out. So I told her I would pay her for 2 balls of Drops Air, even though she's only gonna send me 1, but just so she can go to the store and get herself 2 more if that's what she'd like, and shipping. And so the shipping from the UK to here was £14, which I prefer to just say it was £14 because I don't really want to know what it was converted. And so I ended up sending her £22. I ended up sending her $32. That's my story. If you are currently knitting the Dagmar jacket, here's what I have to say. / if you see this video for inspiration or see if you want to knit the Dagmar jacket, buy more skeins than you think you'll need, especially if this is like your first big cabled project, because this is my first big cabled project, and like it feels like an accomplishment to knit something so large and so cabled, to just have it. I don't know. The biggest thing that has discouraged me was the idea that I might not have enough yarn. So if you don't want to run into the same issue as me, better just order more yarn. Good excuse, especially if you're knitting it in like a neutral color like this. Perfect thing to have in your stash. I love it. I think I'm like 3 rows away from finishing a cable, and then I'm gonna try it on and see what I think about the length of the arm. And if I like it, I'm gonna start ribbing, and then I'm gonna have 1 arm done just in time for Whip Wednesday. I really recommend the Sleepy Time, I think that's the brand, I don't know, their Sleepy Time tea that has melatonin in it. I don't really know how much the melatonin actually does, but it's like chamomile with mint plus melatonin, and it feels like the most delightful thing to have before bed. So if you like a good wee cup of tea, then cheers. I'm gonna knit, and I'm going to show you what it looks like after I finish this cable, and then figure out whether or not I'm gonna keep knitting it. And do you want to watch me knit? Yes or no? Hopefully you said yes, because you can watch me knit, so sorry if you don't want to. Here is Mrs. Dagmar. Miss Dagmar, probably, because she's probably... Oh. Okay. Okay, wait. Let me post a photo on my story real quick. I think it might be done. Let me look at how much ribbing it calls for at the end. Okay, 7 centimeters, which I think is as long as this, which is pretty long. I asked on my TikTok if people have ever cabled using drops air, and a lot of people said that they have. Well, people said that they've used drops air and their sleeves have grown humongously. Other people have said that it shrunk after they blocked it. I think regardless, adding another half cable will bring it to here, and then 7 centimeters of ribbing will bring it to here. So hopefully everybody on my story says start ribbing, because I think that's what I'll start doing. Also, while I do this, I just want to have a little bit of a conversation. I'm currently watching this podcast by Harry Knits, The Harry Knit. I was watching one of Woozy by Celine's videos, and she had mentioned this idea about, like, is podcasting dead? Knitting podcasting specifically. And I thought that was interesting. Obviously because I haven't heard that, and I felt like I had this opinion that knit podcasts actually did better than other videos, and so I think the thing is, like, people have been leaning more towards vlogs. My thing is that I'll do knitting podcasts when I have things to talk about, like I would talk about my fall knitting plans, or I talk about my summer knits, or talk about all the yarn that I bought. And I don't really follow the generic, like, people doing a knitting podcast every week talking about what they're working on, just because, like, I don't think I'm working on something new enough every single week to be making a whole entire video about it. Also because I enjoy making videos like these, vlog type videos, where I can go through the process, and I feel like bringing you along the process with me gives both of us a lot more information. Like, you can see the process of knitting, you can see my thoughts that I had while I was making this specific project if you were trying to make this project, and it's easier to, like, recount things as I'm going instead of, like, at the very end. I don't really know. And it's also, like, easy to access because you see a knitting podcast that has 5 different patterns in it that they're talking about, and you only are interested in one. That time is split up between 5 different patterns, as opposed to, like, a video like this, it's all just in one video, you know? Let me know your thoughts on this, and what videos do you prefer when you're knitting, specifically knitting videos. Like, when you watch knitting videos, what do you enjoy watching most? Because I think it depends for me. I think I have this idea that knitting podcasts do good in the knitting community because you can just put them on and listen, and it's typically, like, low pressure. Like, you don't have to watch it the entire time, you can just put it on in the background. But knitting vlogs, you are, like, watching to see the process, because why are you going to watch a knitting vlog and then not actually watch the knitting, you know? But maybe it's the same idea, that you can just put it on in the background, but it's, like, maybe more interesting. Anyways, those are my thoughts about this sort of definitely not niche topic, but, like, Wait, hold on. Yeah, I'm curious to know what you think about this. If it's something that you've thought about, if it's actually something anyone is concerned about, or if it's just like a little bit of a conversation that's going around that, I don't know. I just started podcasting recently, and I don't know that my number one skill is to do knitting podcasts. So if they don't do all that well, I won't be too hurt by it. But I did just set up a nice new yarn wall specifically for my knitting podcast, but whatever, I guess. Anyways, I'm gonna rib for a little bit more and watch the rest of this video. There is 15 minutes left and I've only watched 10 minutes, so I might have a completely wrong take on it, but I don't know. Let me know, I guess. I think it's very cute. I do think the length is good. I'm just maybe like a little bit, like I don't want it to be short at all. And I think it's a good length. And I think with a little bit of blocking, it'll grow a perfect amount. I'm thinking, plus I feel like I have to be very particular with the yarn that I'm using, because who knows, if I did another half cable, I wouldn't have enough yarn to finish it after this sleeve, even though I have one skein coming in the mail. So maybe it's perfect. But yeah, this is how it's looking and I love it. But my sleepy time tea is actually being very sleepy time because my eyes feel heavy, like they're closing. Like, you know that feeling when they're like would like to be closed? That's me right now. So I think I will go do my skincare, go get ready for bed, and then maybe do an Italian bind off, but I don't know.
It stretches from healthy foods to something far more unexpected. I had
like, I can't believe I made this. I made this. Me, myself, with my hands made this. How did that happen? Oh, I just want it to be done and I want to wear it. I want to cozy up in it and just be done. Oh my gosh. Honey. Thank you, baby. Okay, good night, and see you next time, I guess. Hi everybody. I don't remember the last time I updated on my Dagmar jacket, but I'm knitting on it a little bit right now. I am working on the second sleeve and I'm going to give you a good update. This is how much yarn I have left for the entire jacket. I hope I have enough yarn. So I am receiving this one skein from this lady, Natalie, and my consensus is I started doing, I had the plackets, the neckline, and both sleeves left, and I had 2 skeins of yarn. So I started by doing one half of a placket. I did like one of the plackets, and then I did the entire arm. I didn't get all the way through the arm. I got like to row like 60 something. I got to row 60 something, and I needed like 84 rows to stop the decreases, and then I went a little bit past that, but not very much, and started on my other skein. And so now with this skein I have completed the neckline and the other placket, and I'm at 21 rows, and these rows are bigger than the other rows. And so now I'm gonna have a whole skein to finish the arm, and like that's it. So I think I have enough. I feel like it might be close. It might be a wee bit close, but I feel good that all will be okay. It's currently Saturday, technically Sunday. I want to just finish this tiny bit up so I can guilt-free cast on something new. I got some mohair the other day to go with this yarn I got with my grandmother over the summer, and it's gonna be like this beautiful like red orange sweater that I want to make. And specifically I want to make other loops waffle loop sweater. I have to figure it out because my gauge is going to be a lot bigger than the gauge that the pattern calls for, so I might need to do some maths. It's fine, it's fine. It's already up on my channel, but I am currently also working on a super chunky sweater tutorial of raglan. I harvested yarn today, which was a crazy experience, and I've got a good bit, like I'm probably more than halfway done with the raglan increases. So, and I'm working on 8mm needles and it feels so wrong. So these feel so small, but like they feel much better in my hands. So I still need buttons for this. And what was gonna happen was my boyfriend was gonna make me buttons. He's still making me buttons, but he was gonna specifically make buttons for the Dagmar jacket. But if you watched my last video, one of my last videos about my fall knitting plans, I have a few cardigans that I want to self-draft coming up. And I felt a little bit guilty. So for one, I felt like I'm going to finish this much sooner than he's going to finish the buttons. And I really want to wear this, but I need buttons. But then I also feel a little bit guilty because like Drops Air isn't the most top quality yarn. And so I feel bad that he like spent all this time into making buttons, and it would be using a yarn that like isn't the highest quality yarn. And I think the buttons that he's gonna make me will go very nice on either my color work cardigan that I want to do, or my all over cabled cardigan that I want to make with my Knitting for Olive. Yeah, so I'm about to finish up this skein of yarn, and I'll just give you, once I finish this up to the end, I'll give you a little try on. See how it's looking. Oh, this is so cozy. I just want to cuddle up in it. Look at how cozy this is. I feel like I look like a little lad. Tell me if I look like a little lad. I like to be this little lad, if this is what a little lad is like. So here's the arm. I think I just need it to grow a little bit when I block. Just a little bit of growth is all I'll ask for, and I'll be happy. I'll be a happy camper. But until then, I'm going to sleep, and I'm not gonna talk to the Dagmar jacket video until my next skein of yarn comes. So I'll be busy. This is my longest project yet, isn't it? So it is days later from when I had last talked to you about the Dagmar jacket, and my yarn finally arrived. More so, it finally arrived from my dearest Natalie, who sent this to me from her stash, and I'm gonna finish my Dagmar jacket. I'm actually gonna finish it. Join me a little bit of Dagmar jacket knitting time, and also featuring my Northern Augustans number 4. Love this sweater. Love it so much. It's spectacular, truly, and I'm so glad I get to wear it now because it's cold out. Okay, let's knit. Let's finish my Dagmar jacket. I've been speeding through it, so I'm going to finish it tonight. everything minus the buttons. I just need to find my needles. I have barely survived yarn chicken. Look at that, that's all I have left. I knit 16 rows and I didn't do like the last double knit row before the Italian bind off. I'm just gonna do the Italian bind off because I have just enough for it. So I can't believe it. I just want to wear it all day. It's so cozy and cuddly and I just love it to pieces. I love it to pieces. So I'm gonna bind off now and then I'm gonna go to sleep and I'm not gonna record anymore because I'm feeling tired. Hello everybody, it's the very last segment of the Dagmar Jacket part of this video. So final and last step is to put on the buttons that I got. I got these buttons from Holland Hoof Farm Store. Super cute. They're based in America, which is nice because it's really expensive to ship anything from out of state here, and especially buttons. Like, they're small, so they're not going to cost that much, so it would be like the same amount that the buttons cost in shipping. Anyways, I just want to show you the buttons that I got. I bought them like very much on a whim. I had looked at their shop before, but I didn't see ones that I wanted. And then I looked again. Oh, they're so cute. They're so cute. And then I looked again and I'm like, these are the ones. I just immediately saw them and there's only 6 left, so I'm like, I gotta buy them. Anyways, look how cute they are. I got these because they just felt right to me. The size is exactly as I wanted them. Dagmar Jacket originally has toggles on it, but I just didn't really like the toggle look that much. These ones were like perfect because they're like thinking about being toggles, but like obviously they're not toggles. So they're so cute. Look at that. They're from Cherry Wood. This is literally all the Drops Air I have left, but I have this yarn from something else that I'm using, and like they're virtually the same in such small quantities, so I think it'll be fine. I'm just gonna put on my buttons and I'm so excited because then it'll be done and I can wear it and you'll see the final reveal.
I mean, you'll actually see it because I think I'm gonna like narrate this video and have the setup like I have had before because I need something to like glue this video together.
I'd love to tell you about my plans on the video, but like you don't actually care because you're just gonna see them. Watch me put on buttons. And now we are here, sitting here with my beautiful finished cardigan. I am so in love with this cardigan. The journey of making it was incredible. I hope you could feel what I felt during that time of making it, and just really like looking back at this video and working this video together that holds so many memories in so many different time spaces, but it's only been 6 months. I truly love this cardigan and I think it is my Mount Everest, and I think I'm happy for it to be my Mount Everest because it holds so many good memories. And I think that's the one beautiful thing about knitting, is that it like holds the memories and the energy of what you put into it. I had someone comment on one of my videos recently where I was asking if I had knitting blindness, and it was because someone had asked me if my whole outfit was handmade, and I didn't know whether or not to be offended by that. But someone commented about how clothing that we make has the energy that we put into it, and other creators around you can feel that energy. It was interesting to me. It was an interesting concept, and talking about this now, like, I can feel that, and so it's really special to me. I want to talk a little bit about the blocking process of this cardigan because I didn't really go over that, and it was something that I definitely was curious about. I posted a longer reel on my Instagram that you can go see if you ever need to quickly check back to something, but I was nervous to block this because it's made out of drops air, and I posted a TikTok asking people, like, what is their experience blocking drops air in a cabled work, and a few people said that it shrunk, and as you saw in the video, if it just grew only the perfect amount, it would be wonderful. And so I was really focused on trying to make sure the blocking was good. How I ended up blocking it was, I typically use hot water, but for this, because it contains polyamide in it, I did not use hot water because I didn't want it to shrink and like shrivel the plastic. What I used was like lukewarm, like slightly colder than lukewarm water, and that worked perfectly. You can see here the sleeves are perfect. They're literally the perfect length. I did 1, 2, 3 cables, and that was it. And on the body I did this little one, but 1, 2, 3, 4.5. I did 4.5 cables, and with the ribbing, like, it's actually the perfect length. It worked out well. I pinned it in place, but then I ended up just like leaving it because right after I took it out of the water, I tried it on and the sleeves were like they seemed like they were really long, and so I didn't really feel like I needed to do that much shaping. It was just like the water perfectly blocked it out. Anyways, I just want to thank you for joining me on the process of this video, and if you made it this far, I hope you can tell me what you're working on and why did you watch this video. Did you watch it because you're currently making the cardigan and you have questions? Did you watch it because you're trying to figure out whether or not to make the Dagmar jacket? Or did you watch it just to support me because you enjoy my videos? I mean, you don't have to say that, but like, whatever. If you have any questions at all, find me on Instagram and on TikTok, but questions, go to Instagram at knittingfae, and you can message me and I'll answer you as best as I can. That's about it. That's all I have for this video. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a beautiful day. And if you can, text your grandparents that you love them, because it was very special to me to be able to spend the last 6 months sharing the same space as all of my grandparents, and I don't know that I'll ever have that opportunity again. So it was just special to me, and this video is special to me. This jacket is special to me. Thank you, and maybe I'll see you in my next video. Bye.